What's up, everyone? How's it going? Today is April 2nd, and let's dive straight into today's market analysis or trade recap session. So, today was actually NFP or non farm payrolls day, which is a high impact news release day. And typically, when there's NFP, CPI, or FOMC, potentially PPI, we tend to stay flat because price can result and make very unpredictable moves on that day, and once the news move has already happened, then price may not want to actually continue to go to its targets for the remainder of the day. But let's go ahead and analyze what happened here today. I was on the market here today, but I could not find any real opportunity between 8:30 and 10:30. But we can analyze some of our pivot points. As you can see on the 30-minute, here's some quick context over. We marked out that we do have lower liquidity here, some higher liquidity levels, and we do have a high volume node up here. So if you continue striving to go to the upside, I want to see us head towards that area, or at least take out some of these liquidity levels. And it does look like we did take out those liquidity levels. The same essentially applies on ES, but on ES, we do have a nice supply zone there with lower liquidity as well, upper liquidity and lower liquidity there. The strange thing about today is that I want to see a reaction off of either these levels or this high volume node that can actually bring price down to this supply zone before continuing towards the upside, because this supply zone is a very, very key level in terms of volume, and it's actually the POC. And let me demonstrate to you guys what I mean by that. So wrong thing. Would you look at the, if we extend our POC out, the area of high volume was traded right at this liquidity level and inside the supply zone. And as we already marked prior, this is a high volume node. Same thing applies for ES, and looking over the weekend, potentially Monday, that is what I hope to see happen, but as always, never forcing anything. So yeah, simply looking at the charts, there's no setup at all via the charts. First of all, these wicks are quite big sized, and it gets very choppy in the second half of the session. So from 9, anything prior to 9:10 would likely be the only place where we could have potentially placed a trade at. And even then, that would likely only be only around 300 to 400 ticks, which isn't bad. It does show that there was decent volatility in this day, but with this choppy action later on during the day, with increased volatility, it's not the best sign. So since we're looking prior to that time, let's take a look at two pivot areas on Bookmap and ES. Let's take a look at that pivot point and also these two pivot points down here. So right at 8:50 and 9:15. Additionally, 7:30 was when NFP got released down here. So if we had went down to this area, swept these lows where NFP liquidity was placed, and then there was big signs of absorption down at these lows, then I would be more inclined to actually take a long from that position, because that would have played out much more. But we did seem to hold through and actually want to push up and take this upper liquidity level right here and potentially even aim for high volume node above. But yeah, let's check out these pivot points on Bookmap and the footprint 850. Oh, there we go. If you look at it, it does show clear signs that price wants to go higher, and the reason for that is because although that we are trending down, our main targets are towards the upside. But let's see if there's any signal that we're actually going to reverse from this point onwards. Okay, so it looks to be down here that we saw the reversal happen. So potential indicator for this could have been that all the selling action that came in was actually upheld by hidden passive orders down at these lows that supported providing reversal action that stopped all these sellers out. And let's check that on the footprint as well to truly see the validity of our statement. So here's the footprint chart right at 850. Yeah, so if you look at it, there is heavy selling delta here at these lows. And it's likely showing signs of absorption. Now, if there was a small or a simple barrier down at these lows and then something like this happened, that would have been a high confluence and a high confidence trade that we could have executed. But from this area, it would be quite odd because we did break these two barriers. I at least want to see a hold of the bottom of the barrier for more confidence. So that would have been an area to stay flat, but the sign of reversal was indicated by this absorption we see here on Bookmap right at these lows. We see heavy selling delta down at the lows of this candle, but the candle wicks up and doesn't close down where the heavy selling delta is. That's showing us that the auction may want to continue moving, wants to reverse and move higher. Now, let's go ahead and check out this 9:15 time as well. So, how it looks like at 9:15 was simply that we started entering towards these highs, put up large buying volume right against passive selling, and passive selling took advantage of that. On the footprint chart, right here, you can see that buying delta be demonstrated right there. Buying delta occurred, price was not able to close, but we did see a sell imbalance up at these highs. But honestly, there really wasn't anything much. The liquidity book was quite clear other than these main levels, and there was not really much barriers or any additional confluence or confidence makers that were actually there within the market. So would have definitely been a flat type of day. But once again, it does look like our pre-market analysis did play out decently because we did expect price that if we continue bullish momentum, we're going to head to this level at minimum and potentially this level. But if sellers came in, we know that sellers will head to at least this area where we can observe a reaction. And if we see passive buying occur at these lows, then we can take a reversal and play for the upside. But maybe that is a move or something that needs to happen next week and not this week. And honestly, I think that's where I'll leave it off here for today. I know this was quite a short video compared to my other videos, but today was NFP and there's honestly not too much to say or even analyze. That's all I have. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to join the Discord server. The link is in the description. And if you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment down below as well. I'll be more than glad to answer them. I guess that's it for today. I will be uploading 2 to maybe 3 educational videos, likely 2 educational videos in pre-market. And I'll see you guys over the weekend for that. I guess I'll see you guys then. Bye.